Hey everybody, welcome to the Real United States, and we are here again in downtown Detroit, right on Jefferson Avenue. I mean, we are in the heart of the city, just kitty corner from the Renaissance Center, and behind me here is one of Detroit's most iconic works of art, public art. Now, often locally, this is just called The Fist, but that isn't actually the title of this artwork. The real title of this is Monument to Joe Louis. Well, Joe Louis was an early 20th century heavyweight boxing and champion, absolute icon of sports in the first half of the 20th century. Now, he played an important role not only socially, but also nationally. You see, in the period prior to World War II, Hitler was promoting another heavyweight champion boxer by the name of Max Schmeling, S-C-H-M-E-L-I-N-G, I believe is how it's spelled. I'll put it on the screen here. And, well, Max was this icon of the Aryan race, as they called it. And so eventually in 1936, a match was arranged between Schmeling and Joe Louis. Well, unfortunately at that time, Louis lost the fight to Schmeling, and Hitler made a huge deal about Aryan superiority. Well, a rematch was arranged in 1938, and the tell, if you will, that Louis had of dropping his one hand after a particular move that Schmeling took advantage of, he didn't do that this time. He just came on with brute force, and he beat Schmeling in the first round. And it was a huge blow to Nazi pride in 1938. Now, interestingly enough, well, two things before I go to that. Two things. This made Joe Louis a national, if not international, icon hero to not only African Americans, but all Americans. He had beaten the Nazis. I mean, even though we were not at war with them quite yet, they were still considered a threat. So this was a big deal for everyone. So he became, like I say, a just revered hero. Interestingly enough now, Schmeling was not a Nazi. He was a fighter, and because he was German and he was the champion, the Nazi government that was in control tried to exploit his popularity and his physical prowess and whatnot to their advantages. But the fact of the matter is, there was even an incident where Schmeling was harboring Jewish fugitives from the Gestapo that were looking for them. And so he was actually a sympathizer with the anti-Nazi cause at the time, even though he was of German heritage and German nationality. He was not a Nazi. So it was kind of interesting how they tried to play on that his physical prowess for the Nazi Party, even though he did not support them, he was actually against them. But, you know, in that country at that time, you didn't make a lot of waves. You did what you were told. So, anyway, the statue here behind me is a 24-foot long fist and arm, representing that of Joe Louis, hanging from a 24-foot high tripod. Now, interestingly enough, this work of art that you see here was the work of sculptor Robert Graham. Now, Graham, I very much doubt, I don't even know if I mentioned it at the time, but Graham was the sculptor who also sculpted the figure, which I'll put on screen here, of Franklin Delano Roosevelt at the FDR Memorial in Washington, D.C. Well, there was a statement from Roosevelt at the time that Lewis beat Schmeling in 38. And I can't quote it, but it was about what a great thing he had done in showing America's great potential and strength. So, like I say, in a very tangential way, these works by the same artist are tied together. Here we are, decades later. Graham also did another work, which is at the FDR Memorial in Washington, D.C., in addition to the one of Roosevelt that I just showed you seated in the wheelchair. But anyway, brilliant work by Robert Graham. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short episode here at the Monument to Joe Louis in downtown Detroit, Michigan. If you got questions or comments, leave me in the comment section down below. I love hearing from all of you. I try to get back to everybody I can. If you're new here, hey, I encourage you to subscribe and come along for the adventure because I got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, well, thank you for watching.